say things are bigger in Texas, and in San Antonio, that includes our ideas, our goals, our hope for our community. With over 1.5 million residents, San Antonio is the 7th largest city in the nation, and we are getting bigger. While most major cities are experiencing a decrease in population, San Antonio saw the largest number of new residents compared to other cities in the country. Our newest neighbors are attracted to the warm climate and even warmer hearts of San Antonians. We are welcoming back the 37 million tourists that visit our city annually. As one of the nation's oldest cities, we are rich in history and culture. We are also proud to be called Military City USA. With 4 major military bases, San Antonio has the largest U.S. Department of Defense installation. Even with all that we love about San Antonio, we embody what it is to be an all-America city and continue to work with our partners to ensure our residents have equitable access to opportunities. And we started with our youngest learners. In 2012, our voters approved a sales tax dedicated to support Pre-K for SA, a citywide early childhood initiative. Even when families were still dealing with the economic hardships caused by the pandemic, voters reauthorized the sales tax to continue Pre-K for SA last year. At the same time, the city expanded its Head Start program, but you don't have to take my word for it.
The girls are going to school, and I'm also going to school. Thankfully, with the help of City in San Antonio, I'm pursuing my own career, and it's benefiting all of us now that we are a Head Start family, and it has paved the way for us to have new opportunities to build our future.
We are now going to hear from some of my fellow San Antonians who are helping me achieve my dream of becoming a welder and making sure my daughters are started ready.
Thank you for sharing your story, Vanessa, and thank you, Roberto, and to your 2 wonderful daughters, Juliana and Liliana, for being here today. I'm Lori Houston, Assistant City Manager for the City of San Antonio, and since 1978, the city has been a Head Start grantee, and we focus on providing early childhood education to our economically disadvantaged students. With voters reauthorizing the Pre-K for SA initiative and the expansion of the city's Head Start program in 2020, over 5,500 children ages 0 to 5 now have access to high-quality early childhood options, either free or at affordable rates for middle-income families. The city has been sharing agreements with 7 school districts and 6 early child care centers. We also provide grants to school districts and child care providers to support the city's goal of having full-day early childhood options for 100% of San Antonio's disadvantaged students. The abrupt change in our lives caused by the pandemic highlighted what we already know. We need to focus on early childhood, and it's a good start, but it's not enough. The gains we've been seeing in our Pre-K for SA students reading on grade level by 3rd grade is great, and it was promising, but the pandemic wiped many of these gains we have been working so hard. That's when the city and our partners decided to apply the same laser focus. We had to improve and increase access to early childhood, and then also focus on providing or eliminating barriers that allow us to keep whole families from moving forward.
Good afternoon, judges. My name is Mike Ramsey, and I oversee the city's Ready to Work initiative. This $200 million taxpayer-funded education and job placement program is helping individuals in our community, like Vanessa, pursuing her welding certificate, to find a pathway to financial stability. Ready to Work, over the span of the program, will train and educate over 28,000 San Antonians for high-demand, family-sustaining jobs. The purpose of this program is to take our most vulnerable, those earning less than 250% of the federal poverty level, and equipping them with the skills that they need to have a better life for themselves and their family members. To date, over 4,100 community members have applied for the Ready to Work initiative. By 2027, Ready to Work is estimated to train and place on family-sustaining career pathways over 28,000 individuals in high-demand, family-sustaining jobs. We're excited about the start of this program, and it's going to create pathways to financial stability for many of our community members for years to come.
Good afternoon. I'm Brandy Pettis, the Chief Operating Officer for the San Antonio Housing Authority. We know firsthand having access to quality pre-kindergarten and jobs that pay livable wages are only one part of a comprehensive plan to support our families. They also must have access to safe, stable, and affordable housing options. The City of San Antonio, Bexar County, the San Antonio Housing Authority, and the San Antonio Housing Trust have been working together to resolve our community's housing affordability crisis. When the pandemic hit, it created a new face of homelessness in our community, and we knew we had to act fast. The city's 2021 count of homeless individuals found that while San Antonio saw a decrease of 6% in persons who were homeless, there was an 18% increase in the number of families experiencing homelessness. In 2021, the City of San Antonio released the Strategic Housing Implementation Plan, the SHIP. It's the city's shared vision for housing in our community with special commitments to providing housing stability to the most vulnerable populations. The SHIP is San Antonio's first attempt at a community-wide approach to housing, and it was developed with over 80 stakeholders with 4 equity principles in mind: affordability, quality, accessibility, and choice. The goal is to produce and preserve over 28,000 affordable housing homes overall over the next 10 years, with over 13,500 of those homes targeted to families making 30% area median income or below. SAHA will contribute to this goal by adding more than 1,700 income-based housing homes to the current stock in San Antonio. We serve some of the most vulnerable families in San Antonio, and the population includes more than 19,000 children and students. SAHA will continue to work with the city's Head Start program to assist children and families with housing instability. This will help reduce families from being displaced from the established communities and reduce the risk of homelessness, which will in turn assist the city's most vulnerable, youngest learners not only recover from the academic loss caused by the pandemic, but also improve our long-term educational outcomes for our community. The SHIP is more than building and preserving housing in San Antonio. It is a holistic approach to improving the quality of life of San Antonio by increasing access to safe, quality, and affordable housing. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lee Middleton with the city's Office of Innovation. Our community knew we had to solve the digital divide, and the pandemic highlighted that this was no longer a long-term issue to address. We implemented several workarounds to support our students and families in the beginning of the pandemic by collaborating with our community partners. We converted parking lots at San Antonio facilities into hotspots for families to connect to the internet for free. We outfitted city and school buses with internet boosters and parked them in neighborhoods with the lowest access. But we knew we had to do more, and we did. In 2021, the Community Digital Equity Plan and Roadmap was developed by a collaborative made up of multi-government agencies, including the San Antonio Housing Authority, Bexar County, private sector providers, local school and higher education institutions, and nonprofits. Our community had specific plans to provide reliable internet to households in the community's most economically marginalized neighborhoods by 2025. The city has dedicated $25 million in ARPA funds to jumpstart this work. San Antonio's Digital Equity Plan will improve digital equity throughout San Antonio and prioritize public housing, provide in-home school system access for 20,000 students, provide effective speeds and bandwidth to meet distance learning needs, and mimic their current school technology experience at home.
I'm Mayor Ron Nierenberg, and I'm proud to say that we are already implementing some of the citywide efforts we just shared with you. And we couldn't do it without community members like the San Antonio Housing Authority, the San Antonio Housing Trust, United Way of San Antonio and Bexar County, Early Matters, 8 of our school districts, higher education institutions, and countless partners. This cross-sector collaboration is already in place to ensure our community meets our expected outcomes of having 100% of our most vulnerable learners in full-day pre-kindergarten to ensure equitable recovery of learning happens when it matters most, placing 28,000 individuals in higher-paying career pathways by 2027, preserving or building 28,000 affordable housing options by 2030, and ensuring our most economically disadvantaged students and their families have access to reliable internet to support their learning and career goals by 2026. And even though we made sure the voices, experiences, and dreams of our fellow San Antonians were incorporated into our recovery plans, we continue to engage with community stakeholders to ensure this important work is carried out with an equity-based approach. By providing access to high-quality early childhood options for younger learners like Juliana and Liliana, to supporting education and job training options for our big learners too, we're doing the important work to reduce the systemic inequities in our community. We know San Antonio is on the path to recover stronger than when we were before the pandemic. Thank you to the judges, the National Civic League, and the Campaign for Grade Level Learning for naming San Antonio a finalist for this prestigious award. I'm happy to address your questions with our community partners who work tirelessly beside me to make San Antonio an all-America city.